Hi friends, it's Becky, and I have really been wanting to do another beaded chain necklace, and the tropical, what was it called? Tropical Heat bead box from Bargain Bead Box was a great opportunity for me because there's so many beads that are similar colors and maybe even shapes, and I just thought this is a great way for me to add some craft wire and just play up the beads instead of having to have like a whole bunch of different charms and other things. We can just make it more simple and just keep it a little on the more elegant side of jewelry making if we wanted to with these. So I pulled out some of these crackle agate beads, and I have been doing some links with them, and I'm going to show you the links that I made. I made two different types of links, and then I've got these links that came in here, and I'm adding this to the design, and I thought I would use some of this chain, not as chain, but as a little bit of a chain tassel for our focal on this. So I've got these all set up, and so let me show you the two different types of links that I'm using. I went ahead and connected one side of the necklace all together, so you don't have to sit here and watch me connecting all of this stuff. And I've done part of this necklace just to get us going, to get us started. But I did two different types of links. One of these links is the one that has a larger loop on one side and then a smaller loop on the other. My larger loop, I used a wrapped loop like this. And then on the smaller loop, I just used a simple loop, and that makes it so much easier to put it together when you're actually combining and putting this together. And I'll show you how to do both of those. And then I did a simple loop link that just has a simple loop on both sides, and that's to connect this link with the focal that we're going to make in a minute. And the focal is really easy because we're going to be using that same type of link that I'm just about to show you right now. So it's really simple. This type of necklace looks way more complicated and way more like fancier than it actually is, when it's really just using different sizes of loops for your links. So I've got some 20 gauge craft wire. It is gold colored to go with the colors that came in here. And you can smooth it out with your fingers, or if you've got some nylon jaw pliers to smooth it out, you can do that. But once you've got it all smoothed out like this, you're going to want to get some of your tools. And the tools that I'm using for this are a flush cutter, my 6-step bail making pliers, and some chain nose pliers, and that's it. So you want to grab your tools, and I'm going to be using this third largest loop for my large size. This is about the same size if you've got some round nose pliers. Of the most round nose pliers close to the handle, you know, that's smaller farther away and bigger closer in. This is about the same size as that. So you can do this without 6-step bail making pliers. Just make sure you do your big links close to the handle on your round nose pliers and your smaller links further away. So I'm going to bend this back away from the loop that I'm going to be doing this, just because I want my loop to be centered. And then I can push my wire around that loop, around to the other side. And I've got myself a little loop. Looks like a lollipop. And I'm just going to hold on to the wire here. I like to grip the wire before I do any wrapping, because sometimes when you wrap, it will change the size of your loop when you're pushing the wire around. So I like to hold on to it while I'm doing that. I'm just going to use my pliers to move this around a little bit more. It doesn't need to be moved around that much, but I've got some excess wire here. Go ahead and cut that off. Or try to cut it off anyway. Let's actually cut it off now. So now I've got this going, and I can pop my bead on here. Once I've got my bead on here, I've got my, looks like a magnifying glass over here. If I pinch this, and I'm going to want to bend it. If I'm looking at the loop and I can actually see its face and it doesn't look like a straight line, I'm going to bend it away from me like that, so that when I actually make my second loop, my loops are perpendicular and not parallel. I'll show that to you in just a minute. I like to use my side of my finger to measure how much wire to cut when I'm doing a simple loop. It's going to measure, and I just know that this part of my finger measures that much. It's 1 centimeter from the bend to the end. You can see that right there. That's 1 centimeter. And I just know that that's how much my finger measures there. Then I'm going to use the smallest end of my 6-step bail making pliers and just curve this back until it touches the wire. And now I've got my simple loop. And this is what I mean by perpendicular. If I hold the pliers this way and then a second set of pliers on the other loop, I want them to cross. I want them to make that cross section. And that makes it easier for these to lay straight when you go ahead and connect this to the next link in the chain. So I'm going to open this up, my simple loop, and this is why I used a simple loop for this end. So I can open it up and hook it onto the large end of the chain, this the larger loop, the one that is a closed loop. So for the necklace that I'm doing, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these large loop links. One of the links that came in the box, and then the simple loop link right down here. So I have 7 of these guys, but I'm gonna actually make a special link over here to make a little hook onto this, so ignore that part and my counting there, because I'm going to hook this on to here. It says a simple loop as well, so I can swing it open like you do a jump ring. I'm going to hook it onto this link. If I can swing it open wide enough. The curve of the bead was a little bit in the way there. There we go. And now I'll show you the second type of link that I made, and I only made 2 of these. I'm only making 2 of these links because I'm only using it right here to hook this into where my focal is going to be. So this second link, I'm going to move that out of the way, it's just a simple loop link. So I've got my wire here. I'm just going to cut this end flush and then use the smallest loop on my 6-step bail making pliers and curve my wire back until it's touching the wire, and then rotate this around the other way and curve it back so that it makes more of a loop like that. And this loop isn't completely closed, so I'm just going to close it real quick. There you go. And then let's go ahead and cut that part off. Now that I have that loop, I'll put my bead on there. And for these loops, I'm going to want these to be parallel to each other. Instead of perpendicular, I want them to be parallel. So I'm going to bend my wire sort of in the same direction that this loop goes in, but on the other side. And I'm going to do the same kind of measuring, 1 centimeter. And I just know that that's how much that part of my finger is. It's one of those things you get from experience, but you can measure it if you've got a measuring tape or some marks on your board or something like that. It's 1 centimeter or 1/4 of an inch. they're fairly equal. And we'll bend this back so that we've got that other simple loop just on the other side of that link. It's a really simple link. And let's just make sure they're parallel, guys. So now I want my pliers like this instead of being like that. I don't have it on here. I'm just showing how the other one was. So this one, I can go ahead and swing this open and hook it onto this link here. This is going to be a real quick make, y'all. I mean, it takes time to make the links, but once you've made those links, putting it together does not take very much time at all. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to make my focal, and then I'm going to hook my focal onto these two links. So the focal is, again, going to be one of these. One loop is large, one loop is small. The small loop is an open, it'll swing open when you need to do the thing. And I've already made this one. So what I'm going to do now is, in order to make my chain be a tassel, I'm going to cut several lengths of the chain. Well, three lengths. 3 isn't several, it's more like a few. Anyway, I'm going to cut 3 lengths of this chain, and I want it to be an odd number. And the reason I want it to be odd is so that I can have my central link attached to this hook and have it be an even amount of links on either side. So I've cut 11 lengths. Wow, say that 5 times fast. 11 link lengths. that would sure be fun. So I've got 2 of those. So let's go ahead and count out another 11 links. We'll cut that off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to cut on the 12th link right here. And these are just some older cutters. I can use them for cutting chain without worrying too much. I've got my newer ones over here, the ones that I can use for cutting things flush. This chain doesn't need like the heavy duty cutters. It cuts really easily, and it's not going to really damage your cutters very much. So now I've got both of these. I'm going to open up this loop on the back, or on this the focal, and the central link. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be the 6th one in. I'm going to be just looping that one onto this link so that we can have several of these hanging down. Oh, you know what? I wanted to see if this would look all right. I was just going to take this bead cap, kind of like as a hat for my tassel. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I want it to go like that. So let's see if it'll go on here. No, not like that. The other way. The other way. I'm just going to try and get this bead cap on here first, and then we'll put our links on. It might not work. It might look dumb, in which case then I'll have to take all of this off. But it was just a little idea I had. And maybe it would have worked better if I'd put the bead cap on before I curled my thing, but I didn't really feel like messing around with that. I think I'm a little happier messing around with it like this. Okay. So now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the central one, that's the one I want. Let's get that hooked on there. And then these other 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th one, because math. And then one more, because I've done like these chain tassels before with like different lengths of chain, but I wanted to do them all the same length for this one. So that's why I'm counting them all out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the central one is the 6th one. Whoop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I dropped it, so I just wanted to make sure I was getting the right one. Oh, hold on. Oop. This is rotated weird. That's okay though. Aha! I got it on there. Now let's rotate. Let's close up that loop. Come on, pliers. Close that loop up right there. Okay, so now I've got a little hat. Does it look dumb? Does it look good? I don't know, but now I've got a little danglies. I got my danglies. All right, now I'm going to hook these guys onto this. It looks a little bit like a jellyfish. A little bit. You know, tropical stuff. Let's go with a theme. Right. Swing this open and hook it onto the same loop that we've got over here. All right. And now my last loop on this, or my last link on this chain has an open loop, or a loop on that end. So I'm going to make another link, but instead of a loop on the end, I'm going to make a hook. So let's start with the hook. I'm just going to make a loop that way. And then I'm going to bend this around like that. And I'm going to work hard on that a little bit by smushing it with my pliers. That's one of the things that I did with each of these, is the round part, I kind of smushed it a little bit. Now, I don't know if we need like a sharp bend. Probably. And then we can put one of our beads from the thing right here on the end. And then I can make a simple loop. Let's do a simple loop. See, this way. I'll just have a closure on this. So now this is the shorter end. I'm going to attach this to this loop here. Oop. Wrong end. Swing that open. Now, got my little loop here. And I have a necklace that I just made with the bargain bead box for May, the tropical heat one. And you can use these links and some more of these chains to make an earring. So let's do that real quick, because I didn't actually make an extra link, but I did cut some extra chain So let's do that one together because it's going to be really easy, but it's basically the same as the focal, just without the bead cap on it. So let's make that link one more time. We'll just reinforce the way we make that link. We're going to take our 20 gauge wire still, and then I'm going to wrap it around this third largest, 1, 2, 3, third largest step, or if you're using round nose pliers, the end of your plier close to the handle. And then we're going to wrap around this a couple of times. Kind of about 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches away from there. And I can put my bead on there. And if I'm looking at the circle, then I can push my wire away to bend it over the top. And this is 1 centimeter, or that one part on my finger that I know equals 1 centimeter. And then the smallest loop in order to get my simple loop right there at the bottom of this. And then for the earrings, I didn't want the tassel to be as long, so I just cut lengths of 9 links, and I only did 2 of them instead of 3 of those. So the middle one is 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th from the end. Which end? Either end, actually. Let's open this first before we start putting those guys on there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My dog, who, by the way, I just spent an hour cuddling with after she ate, and she's been outside. She had gone to go look out the window, and I was like, well, here's my opportunity. I can make some jewelry. So I sat down and I started talking to y'all, and she was like, hold on, you need to be paying attention to me though, Mom. That's why she's whining, just so you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you want to say hello to Ellen, please feel free. I will pass the message along. There we go. So I got the center link onto that loop for a dangle. And then I can open up my ear wire and just hook it right on here onto this open part of this link with the larger part. And now I've got earrings and a necklace. Anyway, I hope y'all are having a great weekend, and I hope you enjoyed this really quick tutorial. Let me know if you decide to make one, because I think it's really fun, and I kind of miss doing the beaded chain stuff. I think this week I'm going to do a few more beaded chain things, just because I really had fun doing it every day for the month of September. I'm not going to do another challenge until September. I think I'll do it again, but I think this week we're going to do a few of these. Let me know if you do one too. Let me know how you're enjoying this subscription. If you're not a subscriber and you want to check my link. There's a link right in the description, and you can find out where you can get these. Have a wonderful day. Bye.